Okay, I'm trying something new with the background here, and I'm not really entirely sure that I like it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Just needed to mix it up a little bit. Back in the day of old school YouTube, where I come from, we used to do stuff like this all the time, where we would just do a tag of random questions or random facts, 20 random facts, 50 random facts. Let's be real though, I couldn't really fill up 50 random facts that were that interesting. But I thought today it would be kind of fun to just kind of be old school and do a 20 random fact video. So I have compiled a list of 20 facts that I hope will be somewhat interesting, and most of them I think you won't know even if you followed me for quite a while, and especially if you're a newer subscriber, like in the past 6 months or so, I'm really hoping that you won't know a lot of these. So let's see if I can surprise you. Number 1, I am a fake redhead. I don't know if actually my hair looks that red in the lighting today. When I wear a red shirt, it doesn't really. And this may not come as a surprise to a lot of people, but I have actually had a lot of people tell me that it looks like my natural hair, basically. But I do dye my hair red, and I have for 6 years probably. Second random fact related to that, I have always wanted red hair since I was a kid. Literally the first series that I started writing was when I was about 9 years old, and my protagonist had red hair, green eyes, freckles. That was what I wanted to be growing up. So finally I got old enough and I dyed my hair red, and I haven't stopped. If you're wondering my natural hair, you probably can actually see it. It's kind of like a brown color, a dark brown. Fact number 3, I am neither a cat nor a dog person, although I did used to consider myself a dog person. I grew up with a dog who I loved dearly. He was basically my brother. And I'd never had a cat. I did have cats when I was very young, but I wasn't as close to them. And I pretty much just grew up with a dog, as well as hamsters and a rabbit and a whole like zoo. But the dog was the most influential and special. So I consider myself a dog person until I got a little bit older, and I've always been a general animal person, and now I have a cat. I'm clearly not either a cat or a dog person, and I still want a dog in the future. So do not call me a cat person, do not call me a dog person. Now I don't want to be labeled. Fact number 4, I love video games, and I used to play pretty much every single day growing up. The first console I had was a PS1, back when PS1 was relevant, and I had a Game Boy Advance. It was, I remember hesitating between getting a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance, and I got a Game Boy Advance, so it was sort of when Game Boy Color was still relevant as well. But I grew up playing that all the time. I always had it in my backpack pretty much, and I obviously graduated to cooler and newer consoles, and I still play. Even though I don't have a console here in Paris, I do really want to get one. And I do play video games, well, computer games still. Fact number 5, I have really sensitive skin, and I always have since I was a little kid. I always have to be really careful about like the products that I buy and stuff like that. I almost always opt for sensitive skin options. Sometimes that's not even sensitive enough, but I do just really have to be careful of the products that I get and what I'm using. Fact number 6, which I can't really do here because I am not gonna put down my coffee. I have worn glasses since I was 5 or 6, I believe. I don't actually remember. I just remember being very small and looking out the window to the mailbox and telling my mom, I can't read the numbers on our mailbox. That might have something to do with the fact that I've always been obsessed with video games and computers and all the screens, like all of that, but I do wear a very strong prescription now, either contacts or glasses. Fact number 7, I used to be kind of infatuated with British accents and culture and movies and TV series and all of that. Pretty much until I moved to the UK, actually. That has nothing to do with the fact that I didn't like the UK. I absolutely loved it. I would happily move back there again someday. But I think it was just, I don't know, the fantasy becoming the reality. It kind of wipes away that infatuation element. I still do love British accents of all kinds, but I kind of just like accents. I love Australian accents and South African accents, different American accents. I just like accents. Fact number 8, my family has mostly German heritage. We also have British and Irish and probably a lot that I don't know about. I've never done one of those DNA tests that are all the rage right now. But all I know is that I definitely have a lot of German heritage. Not enough to be connected to any like distant family in Germany or anything like that, but you can probably tell from my last name that there's a line there that goes back to Germany. Fact 9, I didn't start liking coffee until I was probably about 15, which is fairly normal, but considering how much I love it now, some people are still kind of surprised when I tell them. My first coffee beverage that I actually really liked was a caramel latte from Bread Co. Panera, for anyone who doesn't live in the St. Louis area. And for anyone who doesn't live in the US, it's kind of like a Starbucks with more soups and sandwiches. I had a caramel latte. I really, really liked it, but caramel lattes are basically mostly caramel and sugar. But I think I just needed that to slowly branch into coffee. It was my gateway coffee drink. Now I pretty much like it any way you serve it to me. Fact number 10, I have naturally curly hair, which I say on a day that I actually straightened my hair for this video today. In most of my videos, you see that it's kind of wavy, and that's pretty much my natural curl. It's not extremely curly on any day, but some days it turns out to be like actual curls. Other times it's kind of just a weird, I don't know, frizz, but it just depends on what my hair is feeling that day. But it is definitely naturally curly, and anytime I straighten it, within a couple of hours, it starts to get the little curl on the ends, and it gets pretty curly by the end of the day. And if it rains, it's game over. I might as well have not even bothered straightening it. Fact number 11, I think I would have to say my favorite actor is Zachary Levi. He's not nearly as well known as a lot of other actors, but I loved him in Tangled as the voice of Flynn Rider, and also Chuck. That's one of my all-time favorite shows. I don't know why. I've only watched it twice, which is, you know, only, but it's still something to watch a TV series twice through. But I just really liked it, and I really liked him, and I like his acting, and I'm actually really excited to see more from him in some upcoming movies. Fact number 12, I used to be extremely shy around strangers. Not really people I knew, but around strangers, I had a really hard time talking. I was super, super shy and timid, and it was kind of, I think it was until probably my mid-late teens. It was definitely a process to get over that, but I think at some point in my teens, I just realized that I was missing a lot of opportunities, and I hated being shy. There's nothing wrong with being shy, but I personally hated it, and I personally felt like it was holding me back. So I just decided I need to fix this, and it didn't happen overnight. I had to do a lot of, I guess I just had to push myself out of my comfort zone a lot. But little by little, I forced myself out of my comfort zone. I did stuff I wouldn't normally do, and I kind of got over it. It still does strike occasionally. There's still things that I don't like to do that's probably because of my past being shy, like calling people on the phone for some reason. I don't mind calling people I know, but I hate calling strangers on the phone, and I don't know why, but it might have something to do with that past shyness around strangers. But I'm definitely not like I was before, and I'm much more comfortable around people I don't know. Probably something that did help on top of everything else was YouTube. By the time I started YouTube, I was 20, so I'd gotten over a lot of the shyness that I was struggling with when I was younger. But I do think YouTube helped even more, because you really get used to hearing yourself talk, getting used to your little tics and your little mannerisms, and you just get more comfortable, I think, with yourself. Fact number 13, I have basically never, ever had long nails, even though I really wanted them when I was younger. This is undoubtedly thanks to violin. You cannot have long nails when you play violin, and no matter how much I wanted them when I was a preteen and an early teen, my violin teachers would never let me have them, for good reason, I understand now. And now that I'm an adult and I don't actually play in orchestra anymore, I don't play in ensembles, I don't take violin lessons, there's no reason why I couldn't grow out my nails, but now I cannot stand it when I have long nails. I've tried a few times. I do like to have somewhat, like a little bit of nail, but if it gets too long, it immediately drives me crazy and I don't know what to do with it. So I'm just destined to have short nails forever. Speaking of violin, fact number 14, I have played violin since I was about 5 years old. It actually started because my older sister got a violin for a gift, so it wasn't even really something we were intending to start down, but I wanted to take violin lessons too, so I started, and I took violin lessons throughout the rest of my childhood and high school and university. I played violin and actually got a scholarship for it. And I still play violin, I just don't have quite as much time, and I'm not part of an orchestra anymore, which makes me kind of sad. Fact number 15, people when I was kind of an early teen used to say I looked like Miley Cyrus. This was way back in the Hannah Montana days, so she was just breaking out as this fresh face, and we're actually almost exactly the same age, so that might have had something to do with it. I still had brown hair at the time. I don't know why, but everyone was talking about Hannah Montana, everyone loved Miley at that age, and people started saying I looked like her. I don't really know if I see the resemblance. I definitely don't now, but there's that for you. Fact number 16, I have only had 2 manicures in my life. Again, this is something that has shocked some people, not shocked other people. I don't know if it's that shocking, but yeah, I've only ever had 2. And one of them was a birthday gift, and the other one was a gift that was, the gift was a gift card for a manicure. So I don't know why. I do really like having manicures. The couple of times I've gotten them, I've loved them, but I think I'm just, again, might have something to do with the short nails or something, but I don't really get manicures. Fact number 17, soccer, aka football, and baseball are the only two sports that I actually would say I understand. I know little rules and stuff about some other sports, but yeah, I pretty much don't understand what's going on with anything except those two, and I don't even really like them that well. I do occasionally like to watch them, like the World Cup and the World Series. I'll watch those, but I'm not a big sports fan. But if you actually had to ask me like what's going on the field, then I could not tell you for any other sport, pretty much. I try, but I just don't really care that much. Fact number 18, I am not very good at walking in heels, which is sad because I actually used to be quite good at walking in heels. When I was in high school and university, I walked in heels all the time because I was in orchestra and I was constantly performing and doing little things like that, or going to performances for friends, and I wore heels all the time, probably at least once a week. And then when I moved to the UK, I discovered that walking in heels was not very easy on like cobblestones. I started taking public transportation instead of driving. Now I live in Paris. Again, you have the issue of the streets are not always well paved and they're sometimes very old. There are like grates everywhere that are just basically a death trap for stilettos. So I pretty much stopped wearing heels, which means that the occasions that I do break out my heels, I'm not very good. It also might have something to do with the fact that I am not very naturally coordinated. So put that on top of out of practice and it's kind of a disaster. Fact number 19, I tend to get a little bit grumpy if I haven't had breakfast. I am definitely not one of those people who can skip breakfast. I know a lot of people don't feel like they need to eat in the morning. They prefer to eat later in the day, later in the morning at least. But for me, I need to eat a meal right when I get up. It can be small, it can be like a granola bar or something, but I do have to have something in the morning. Otherwise, I'm kind of grumpy. And that also goes with coffee. I'm kind of grumpy without my coffee. So if ever in the future I would ever do a morning routine, you know that the first thing I would have to mention is breakfast and coffee. Finally, fact number 20, I love sweets. I have a huge sweet tooth and I always have. I like salty food too. I definitely have a lot of weaknesses like, you know, pizza, chips, the standard, you know, junk food. But my real weakness is with sweets. I pretty much could eat next to nothing for appetizer and main and just save all the space for dessert because that's my favorite part. So there you have it. There are 20 random facts about me. Let me know in the comments if any of these came as a huge shock to you, and I would also love to know a few random facts about you. How about let's say 5 random facts about you that you can leave in the comments below. And if you want to actually do an entire video, if you also make videos, you can do an entire video about 20 random facts, and I would also love to watch that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like and leave a comment below and just let me know that you enjoyed it. I actually had a really good time doing this, and also let me know thoughts on this background that I have going on, because I'm not entirely sure I like it, but there are only so many places in my little apartment that I can find to film. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon in another video.